Welcome back to the Ed Show, and once again, we're joined by Dr. Cornel West, professor at Princeton University. Dr. West, breaking news moments ago, the Senate Republicans blocked the jobs bill that would have put 400,000 people to work, teachers and first responders, firefighters, police officers. What can President Obama do against this record amount of obstruction he's facing?
Yeah, it's very sad, my brother. I mean, he's got to continue to use that bully pulpit and say, I'm fighting for jobs in a serious way. He's got to use executive orders to try to generate some mortgage relief that I think he can do, linked to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mae. I think he's got to use the bully pulpit to deal with arbitrary police power.
Isn't he doing that now?
Poor communities, disproportionately black and brown. You say what?
Isn't he doing that now? I mean, he's doing a bus tour. He's out there every day advocating for what has to be done for American workers.
Absolutely is. But I think it's got to go beyond just the bills. He needs to link it to a much broader vision. And the vision has to be one where it's perceived not simply to be obsessed with winning a re-election, but also tied to, in his heart, mind, and soul, he's got these fundamental convictions. And if he doesn't get it out, the rocks are going to cry out. He can't be perceived just as a politician. You've got to be a statesman in these kinds of moments. You have to be a statesman who is making an intervention into the mud that is characterized by so much of the obstructionism Republican Party. It can't be tit for tat, tit for tat. Just like it can't be revenge,
want him to
it's
do?
got to be justice. You have to have a spiritual content and a moral character to what you're talking about.
You think he's
political calculation?
You think there's too much political calculation on the part of the president? You think he's short on spirit and dedication?
Yeah, I think so. I think so, though, brother. Well, for example, I think that we should have talked about this jobs issue 2.5 years ago. It was very clear that working people were suffering, that people were wrestling with mortgage collapses, with bankruptcies and so forth. He was too bank-friendly, too tied to Wall Street early on. The health care bill, of course, a serious battle. I don't think he fought as hard as he should, but I give him credit for the relative victory that he had, rightly so. But you have to show not just a passion, but a certain sense of priority. The suffering is real out there, Brother Ed. You know that.
I know it is.
That he caught on late. He caught on late on this jobs issue.
But this president
and now people are wondering, is this just a re-election tactic rather than something he feels in his bones? Now, he may feel it, but he's got to allow other people to feel it too, though, man.
Okay, so you think what President Obama is doing right now is a re-election tactic? I mean, I think he is very sincere about trying to create jobs in this country, and especially the best that he was handed. What do you want him to do at this point? And will you support him in the next election?
I would like him to say that I have a vision that has to do with eradicating poverty. It has to do with not just a weak Dodd-Frank bill vis-a-vis Wall Street, but a decentralizing of major banks, because if they're too big to fail, they're too big to exist, which means they have too much influence on Wall Street as well as in the White House. Okay. He needs to have a Kingian vision, a Martin Luther King-like vision. It's not even just left or right. It's just real, moral, ethical, and wrestling.
And we got to leave it there.
With the oligarchs and plutocrats in our society. I see him still too tied to Wall Street, given the populist rhetoric.
We've got to leave it there.
He's so much better than Republicans. Yes, I refuse to be satisfied with candidates who are better than Republicans. That's like someone who's just better than me singing in the shower. So what? No.
Dr. Cornel West, we're up on
Frank
time.
Sinatra. I want Bing Crosby, brother. I want Nat King Cole.
Always great to have you with us tonight. Thank you. The righties say Vice President Joe Biden is making outrageous comments about the American Jobs Act, but he's really telling the truth about what happens when police forces are cut. That's next.